John chapter 11, I'm going to start at verse 33.
All right.
I'm going to read just a little bit.
All right.
I'm going to read a good portion of this chapter, but I want you to read the whole chapter when you get home. Amen?
Amen.
Does everybody have it? John chapter 11, verse 33. When Jesus therefore saw her weeping, and the Jews also weeping, which came with her, he groaned in the spirit and was troubled, and said, Where have ye laid him? They said unto him, Lord, come and see. Jesus wept. Then said the Jews, Behold, how he loved him. And some of them said, Could not this man which opened the eyes of the blind have called that even this man should not have died? Jesus, therefore, again groaning in himself, coming to the grave. It was a cave, and a stone lay upon it. Jesus said, Take ye away the stone. Martha, the sister of him that was dead, saith unto him, Lord, by this time he stinketh, for he hath been dead 4 days. Jesus saith unto her, Said I not unto thee that if thou wouldest believe, thou shouldest see the glory of God? Then they took away the stone from the place where the dead was laid, and Jesus lifted up his eyes and said, Father, I thank thee that thou hast heard me. And I knew that thou hearest me always. But because of the people which stand by, I said it, that they may believe that thou hast sent me. And when he thus had spoken, he cried with a loud voice, Lazarus, come forth. And he that was dead came forth, bound hand and foot with grave clothes, and his face was bound about with a napkin. Jesus saith unto them, Loose him, and let him go. Then many of the Jews which came to Mary and had seen the things which Jesus did believed on him. But some of them went their ways to the Pharisees and told them what things Jesus had done. You may be seated. There's a word in the English language that I hear thrown around from time to time called influence. According to Webster's dictionary, influence is the capacity of persons or things to be a compelling force on the actions, behavior, and opinions of others. Or in other words, influence is the power to affect other people. We all have influence. We have influence on our spouses, on our children, on our families, on our friends, on our co-workers, on our community, on our church, and the like. Some of us have more influence than others. Let me explain. When I walk into the room, some people may smile, they may nod, they may wave, they may chuckle, they may even roll their eyes.
Well,
some of them may even just sit there. But if Michelle Obama walked in the room,
My God.
for the young people, if Beyonce or Nicki walked in the room, they would have a different response. Some of us have influence and we don't even know it. But then there are some of us who know we have at least a little bit of influence and we use it to our own advantage.
My God.
Be careful of those who use their influence for selfish reasons. Those are the kind of people that may ask 200,000 people to donate $300 so they can fly. I'm talking about influence. I'm talking about impact, significance. Those who have a powerful effect on other people. Jackie Robinson said, a life is not important except in the impact it has on other lives. True influence is organic. It cannot be purchased.
oh Lord.
It cannot be taught. It can't even be sought after. But influence has a cost. The more influence you have,
More responsibility.
the more haters you have. Martin Luther King had influence. And he paid the ultimate price for it. Malcolm X had influence. Michael Jackson had influence. President Obama has influence. The list goes on and on, but the most influential person that ever walked this earth is a man by the name Jesus. Emmanuel, the Son of God. Jesus had major influence. He had influence influence on, before he was born, he had influence on 3 wise men.
My God.
My God.
And just the rumor of his birth, he had influence on a king named Herod.
Yeah.
When he was just 12 years old, he had influence in the temple.
All right.
When he got older, he had influence on water
Oh, yeah.
at a wedding in Cana.
Huh.
He had influence on a man named Nicodemus. He had influence on the Samaritan woman at the well. He had influence on the sick man by the pool of Bethesda. He had influence on Peter's mother-in-law. He had influence on the woman with an alabaster box. He had influence on a man who was possessed with a legion of demons. He had influence on a woman with the issue of blood. He had influence on Jairus' daughter. 2 men by the side of the road that were blind. He had influence on the woman caught in adultery and the men who brought her.
All right. All right.
I'm telling you, Jesus had some influence.
All right.
Jesus had enough influence to say 2 words. Follow me. And men would drop whatever they were doing
Yeah.
just to follow. They could have been fishing. And they would throw their nets away, jump out of their boats, and follow him.
Yeah.
They could have been collecting taxes.
Yeah.
They would put the money bag down and tell the people to go away just to follow him.
Yeah.
They could have been doctors visiting sick patients, but they would drop it all just to follow him.
Yeah.
Jesus had influence.
Influence. Yeah.
He could even get radicals like Judas and Simon the Zealot to follow him. He was even able to get doubters like Thomas to follow him.
All right.
Jesus had influence, y'all. One time he had influence on 2 fish and 5 loaves of bread. One time he had influence over a storm just by saying, "Peace, be still." One time he had influence over the sea and walked on top of it.
All right.
He had influence over all types of diseases. He had influence over the blind, over those who had epilepsy, over the cripple, over lepers, over the lame, over the deaf, over the dumb, and even the dead. And guess what? Over 2,000 years later,
Oh, yes.
Jesus still has influence. Whether you believe it or not, Jesus has influence over cancer. He has influence over diabetes. He has influence over HIV. He has influence over death. He has influence over depression. He has influence over divorce. He has influence over unemployment. He has influence over brokenness, doubt, bill collectors, bank accounts, wayward children, alcoholism, and drug abuse. He has influence. I don't know about you, but I'm so glad he has influence over sin. Because every time I mess up, all I have to do is call on the name of Jesus. Every time I get myself into a sticky situation, all I have to do is call on. Every time I do those things that I would not do, all I have to do is call. Every time evil is present, all I have to do is call. Jesus has influence.
Thank you.
But it's a rare event for something or someone to have a major influence on Jesus. But according to John chapter 11, the death of Lazarus had a major influence, a major effect on Jesus. Not only did it have an effect on Jesus, but it had an effect on Mary, Martha, the disciples, and even the Jews. So for just a few moments, I want to homiletically discuss the Lazarus effect.
My God.
The Lazarus effect. Everything changed for Jesus the moment he raised Lazarus from the dead.
I hear you.
Everything shifted into high gear after that very moment. I mean, after that moment, after he raised Lazarus from the dead, Jesus' destiny was accelerated. But hold on. Let me not rush. Let me put a little foundation on the house.
All right.
Is it all right if I teach real quick?
Yes.
At the beginning of John chapter 11, Jesus gets the message from Lazarus' sisters, Mary and Martha, that Lazarus is sick.
Yep.
The message specifically says, he whom thou lovest is sick. Or in other words, come quick, your friend, your homeboy, the man you love is sick. But the Bible says in verse 6 that when Jesus gets the message, he decides to stay right where he is.
All right.
2 more days. Can I just drop a pin right there real quick and ask, have you ever felt like Jesus is delayed in coming to you?
Yeah.
I mean, you're in need and it seems like the more you need him, the further away he is. You're hurting, but it feels like he doesn't know. He doesn't even see your hurt. You're stuck, but it seems like he's not coming to your rescue. You're in pain, but he hasn't come to pull you out of it. You keep sending message after message after message, and he's not only at a distance, but he's silent. It was prophesied to you that 2015 would be your year. You believed it. You claimed it. You shouted over it.
All right.
Some of you may have even danced over it.
Margot.
But we are well and good in 2015 and ain't nothing changed.
Margot.
Jesus, I thought you were coming in January. It's March. We're 3 months into this year and nothing has changed.
All right.
All hell is still breaking loose. As a matter of fact, things aren't getting better. They seem to be getting worse. Every time I turn around, there's some new drama, some new dilemma, some new trouble, some new storm, some new rain, some new pain.
Yes.
Am I alone?
No.
Am I the only one who has ever felt that in the midst of my most difficult situations, God was afar off? In the midst of my darkest circumstances, God wasn't moving? As a matter of fact, I know I'm not the only one.
All right.
Because he gave me this word. And if you are in this room and you feel the way that I described, God sent me here to tell you that he's coming.
All right.
But he's coming when you least expect it.
All right. Thank you, God.
In verse 6, Jesus decides to stay put, but when we get to verse 7, he changes his mind. And he decides it's time to get to Lazarus. In verse 6, he's still. But in verse 7, he's moving. In verse 6, he ain't going nowhere. But in verse 7, he starts going somewhere. I mean, it's just one verse later. One verse and 2 days. The difference between verse 6 and verse 7 is time.
Margot. Come on now. Come on.
One verse expands to 2 days.
I see you.
2 days don't seem long. But I have some witnesses that will testify that a lot can happen in just 2 days. Some of us will testify I was fine on Sunday. But by the time I got to work on Tuesday. And when you're going through, sometimes your worst enemy seems to be time.
All right.
Baby, some things you can't pray your way out.
That's right.
Some things you can't fast your way out. Some things you can't praise your way out. Some things you can't dance your way out. Some things you can't sow your way out. Some things you can't serve your way out. Some things you can only wait your way out. But the good news is, it may not look like Jesus is coming in verse 6. But if you just wait to verse 7, if I had time, I would tell you the significance of the meanings of the number 6 and 7.